Okay, to my 5th, 6th, and 7th period class, I'm sorry, but I'm gone again. I'm out of training, and today we are introducing our Hero's Journey short story, so this is going to be kind of long, so just bear with me. Your Gnosis group, the sub is going to go over the short answer and stamp it. The other, you're getting a fill-in-the-blank and a narrative, and we're going to go over that before the quiz tomorrow, and I'll give you some time to study so that you really know the words and we'll talk about them. Okay, so you were each handed out this document called the Creative Writing Hero's Journey Short Story, and I am going to be kind of reading to you just because I want to make sure that you understand everything that we're going to be doing. You're going to write a short story that follows the structure of the hero's journey, and some of the questions are: what makes a hero? Who are my heroes? What kind of hero's journey do I want to write? Do I want it to be a good story that's entertaining, or do I want some kind of message or moral to be portrayed to the readers? You know, this is a project that we've done over the years and the kids have really enjoyed. About 98%. There's always that 2% that doesn't enjoy that, but you can create any story that you want. And the requirements are all right here. I want you to read through them because these are the things that are the most important. One of the things that I want you to pay attention to is right here where it says that it takes place during the time of westward expansion. Here's the deal with that. I'm going to loosely base it. As long as you mention some fact about westward expansion and don't talk that's what I'm telling y'all to do, then that should be fine. I'll be okay as long as you mention some fact, like maybe they have a dream of westward, the Oregon Trail, and they talk about that dream, and as an offhand funny comment. That would be enough. So let's talk about the main requirements. First off, it's a minimum of 5 pages, maximum of 10. If you go over that, just talk to me, and I'll talk to you about it. The second thing is that it needs to be 12-point font, Times New Roman, and double spaced. Please make sure that you adhere to those particular rules whenever you are typing this page up. A title page with a fun color picture. It needs to be creative and original. In years past, we had someone that literally rewrote Legally Blonde in Jurassic Park. It can be based off of a character and then goes off of that story, but for the most part, it needs to be your own original work. You must have at least 7 to 10 archetypes. We're going to draw it down to here. 7 to 10 archetypes, guys, that you include in your story. Now, some of them can be subtle. That's fine. But that needs to be, you need to make sure that they're present and that you understand them. You can pick any genre to write in. It can be fantasy, it can be sci-fi, it can be romance, it can be anything. On the bookcase in the back corner, I have examples, 8 years of examples of students, and we have everything from realistic fiction to children's books, all those different things. The pre-writing has to be completed before you begin composing your short story, and we're going to talk about that in the next slide. All right, pre-writing. There's 5 different things that you have to do, and we're going to talk about them and show you examples. If you get overwhelmed, then start with number 1. That's the easiest thing. So with number 1, all of these different ones can be on a separate sheet of notebook paper, or you can do it in Google Docs. Here's the deal: that as we write this, we're going to have 2 weeks to write. But during that time, you're going to have conferences with me, either through the Google Docs where I'm writing to you in that comment section, or where we're meeting face to face. And you'll have lessons like dialogue, how to build suspense, how to create a dynamic character. And you're going to do some of that on the pre-writing. So for number 1, we're looking at what is your favorite genre to read. Looking at this right here. What kind of genre would you like to write? Who's your audience? That's important because if you're writing a children's book, then your audience is going to be kids. If you're writing a teen book, then it's going to be for teens, adults. Is it realistic fiction girls? Is it realistic fiction boys? You need to figure out who your audience is and what's your purpose behind it. Is it creating suspense? Is it entertaining? Are you trying to do a moral? And then what point of view? Is it first person, third person? Are you trying to have an inanimate object tell a story? Is it a main character? Is it a side character reflecting back? How are you telling your story? Number 2 is you have a choice of 3. You're choosing 1. The hero's journey narrative outline, grid, a storyboard, or a hero's journey chart, but you have to work on the plot. A character sketch, you have to answer the following questions for both your protagonist and antagonist. And here's the deal. If you had to describe Miss Geiger, there would be certain things that she says. There's certain ways I say things that y'all make fun of. And there's certain things the way that Miss Kinberg says things and that y'all make fun of. So your character is going to have a certain way they do things. J.K. Rowling had a great interview once where she said she knew the favorite color, favorite food of all of her characters. She knew their background, and she knew her characters, and her characters are very dynamic. And that's what you're going to, what is your character's most annoying trait? Do they talk a lot? Do they talk too fast, like y'all say I do? Like, you need to spend time on your protagonist and your antagonist creating this. All right, guys, so here are the 3 things that you can choose. You have, number 1, the hero's journey. That can be the plot thing you choose, a storyboard where you're drawing the picture and then having the little bit of explanation of it, or 3 is the plot diagram. You can choose one of these, and they're in the back table of the room for you to choose and on Edmodo. Okay, so the other thing is a setting description. A great quote by Stephanie Coontz. When writing, I think of myself as a tour guide at a large museum. If you're writing a high fantasy and it's not on Earth, you are going to have to describe so we know what you're talking about. Even if you're doing a town that we know, you still have to describe it so that we understand what you're seeing. What does it smell like? What does it taste like if it's food? Like, you have to explain and be that tour guide for your reader. And then last but not least, you're going to work on your intro. And there's so many different ways. The best thing I can tell you is think of your favorite book and go look at that intro. Think of your favorite SSR book. Think of books that you've read, genres that you've read, and how did they start? We just picked up Eclipse, and they start with Jacob's letter to Bella that's all crossed out and there's tear stains on it. They can start with stories can be where the ending and then it tells the story and goes back to the ending. Those are circular stories. You can start with a quote, dialogue. There's different ways. So you have a lot of things that you can use. And here are just some examples. I will be back tomorrow to answer your questions. You're just doing the pre-writing today. You have 1 through 5. If you're overwhelmed, start with number 1 of the pre-writing and just get your ideas and start talking it out.